Imagine I'm such a good cameraman, like we don't want to pay me first because we want you to film.
Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Oakham School for this Under-18 Schools Champions Trophy quarter-final between Oakham School, the hosts, and Epsom College of Surrey, the visitors. It's the first time these schools have met in a 15-a-side fixture, but head coaches Ian Smith and Andy Wolstenholme shared decades of history together. They played against each other for Leicester Tigers and Blackheath Rugby Club. They both played at the same England Under-23 trial, which Ian Smith says was around about 1 million years ago. They were both coaches at the Leicester Tigers in the mid-90s, and Ian Smith actually succeeded Andy Wolstenholme as the head of rugby here at Oakham. We are all working towards the final of this school's Champions Trophy, the inaugural competition, the final to be played at Allianz Park, the home of Saracens, on Wednesday the 26th of November. I bring in my co-commentator Dave Rogers to take us through the starting lineups from this quarter-final.
Thank you very much, Rob. Right then, first of all, let's have a look at the home team, Oakham School. So in the forwards we have the front row of Rigby, Davis and Patel Champion. In the second row, George Bagshaw and Henry Boddy, and making up the forward pack, the back row of Tristan Ropel, William Guy and Moses Gunda. In the back line, the half-backs are Harry Ullman and Matthew Riddington. On the left wing, Daniel Sharman. The centres, Thomas Hubbard and Stuart Ralston. On the right wing, Alex Haynes, and the full-back, James Stables. So Oakham have played 6, won 3, lost 3 this season. By comparison, their opposition, Epsom College, have won 7 out of 7, stretching their unbeaten run throughout 2013 and 2014 to 17 in total. And today they are made up of the forward pack, Aidan Smith, James Owen and Ross Crabtree in the front row, a second row of James Hunt and Jack Brooke. Archie White, James Anderson and Jack Griffin make up the back row. Moving on to the backs, Tristan Bartlett at scrum half, Chris Cody at outside half, Harry Oostervik on the left wing, George Mount and Will Joyce in the centres, Elliot Green on the right wing and Isaac Braithwaite at fullback. A quick look at the replacements bench for both teams. For Oakham, number 16, Matthew Curtis, Leon Moore at 17, Nicholas Davis at 18. 19 is Fergus Holt. Joss Boyle was a last-minute replacement. He came in for the injured Elliot Woodhouse late on today. Will Hanson at 21, Jack Corns at 22. For Epsom, Connor Norris, Jamie Barr, Peter O'Brien, Jamie Palmer, Will Kibblethwaite, Elliot King and Will Onslow Wild.
So Epsom College bringing that 17-match unbeaten record here to Oakham School, the Doncaster close playing fields, but they are missing a few key players through injury this afternoon. Their pack usually weighs in at a quite impressive 800 kilos, but they're missing a few key players from that pack this afternoon, Dave.
Yeah, we've just had a chat to some of the guys beforehand. 2 big losses in the front row. Alex Todd, the hooker of Scotland under-18s. He's been replaced by James Owen and Nunes at prop as well. Big changes in the front row, however, they're confident that the guys coming in are going to do a fantastic job. A few more late replacements to talk about. Hadley, the usual open side flanker, James Anderson has come in to replace him, and also George Mount, who's playing at 12 today for Epsom. He's usually plays in the back row, so expect him to take on a lot of ball today. The usual 12 for Epsom College is Seb Mann, he's concussed, and Tristan Bartlett at scrum half has come in for Niall Saunders, who's out today with a dead leg.
So you'd think a possible opportunity really for Oakham School to be the ones that bring down this this unbeaten run with 5 or 6 key players missing. Oakham did well to fight back in their second round match against Bradford Grammar. They eventually won it 22-17, were 14-3 down at half time, so they've got plenty of resolve in the ranks.
Well, we've seen some big comebacks in this competition already. I mean, the last time we were broadcasting live was Millfield versus Tunbridge. Millfield eventually winning that match after a great start from Tunbridge. As for Epsom's undefeated record, it is very, very impressive. As I mentioned before, 17 in all competitions, including victories against Tunbridge, Harrow, Eton, among others. However, do not write Oakham off. They are a proud rugby school. They've had a mixed season so far, won 3, lost 3, but they have shown with particularly big victories against Loughborough Grammar and Haileybury that when they do get in front, they can put the hammer down and they can get away from teams. This is also great conditions for the time of year. Expect both teams to play some proper rugby, and fingers crossed as the teams make their way out, this is going to be an absolute cracker.
So Oakham, the home side, in their all black strip with red trim, just making their way out onto the field. They'll be well supported on their home ground. It's the first time Epsom have had to travel in this competition. And Surrey to Rutland is a fair distance, so that may play into the hands of the home side as well. And there come the visitors out of the pavilion in their thin blue and white hoops, white shorts, black and white socks. They've been out on the field warming up for a good hour, and they're certainly getting themselves into the mind frame to try and get through to the last 4 of the inaugural Schools Champions Trophy competition. It is just a one-term competition. Some of the biggest names in schools rugby are taking part. A generous round of applause for the visitors, as we see the home team already in a huddle in there. We're making plenty of noises during their warm-up as well, almost the Oakham hacker going on at one point.
They certainly were. Oakham didn't actually get the ball in the hand until 10 minutes before they went in. It was a big stretch-based warm-up. Epsom, by contrast, really, really extensive warm-up as they get into their huddle there. They were out on the pitch for well over an hour before kick-off. Will Joyce, the outside centre, spent a lot of time warming up his place kicking. Also, he's got some fairly heavy strapping on that right foot. You can't see it because it's underneath his boot and sock, but he spent quite a lot of time down. The strapping came on, it went off, it went on, it went off again. So that's obviously something that's playing on his mind. However, his kicking, particularly, well, especially in the warm-up, looked absolutely spot on. So expect him to be moving the ball around a lot today, get in field position off the boot. That's something that Oakham, knowing this pitch well, of course, we're going to have to deal with. Just a couple of minutes to go now. Final preparations. Epsom out of the huddle and ready to go. Oakham making them wait before the referee gets us underway.
We have more vocals from Oakham. They come into this match off the back of a 2028 defeat against Bedford in the Daily Mail Trophy. In contrast, it was an emphatic 86-0 win over Eastbourne College that brought Epsom College here. Well, they come here on the back of that on Saturday in the Daily Mail Trophy as well. It is the home side, Oakham, who will kick off through Matthew Riddington. Currently at Northampton Saints, and he gets this quarter-final underway. Well taken, but immediately the pressure comes in from Oakham. Epsom camped on their own 22 at the moment. Moved the ball very quickly in the warm-up. They were practicing quick speed of hand. They moved it quite quickly across the pitch as well, Dave.
Yeah, they certainly did. The forwards getting over the gain line early on, also showing that they're not scared to pass the ball, as we've got a bit of a break on their offload out of the back door. It's gone back to an Epsom hand, but they are clearly coming in with a game plan today to run the ball, as we've got a little bit of afters at the breakdown there. The referee has spotted an infringement, so we'll have the first penalty inside the first minute, but a strong start running rugby from Epsom, looking to clear their lines with the ball through hand. This would be an opportunity to find touch and see how they get on from the line out.
Today's referee, Charlie Jefferson, in a mishmash of colours. A luminous yellow top, black shorts, burgundy socks. He didn't find touch with the kick. The home side have a chance with ball in hand for the first time, really, in this quarter-final.
Yeah, mistake there from the penalty, so let's see how Oakham can move the ball. Riddington at 10 there, getting over the gain line early. That's been turned over well there by the Epsom pack. The referees spotted a knock-on, so we'll have the first scrum of the match.
Interesting to see the captain, Henry Bodies, the big fellow wearing the blue hat. Ooh, scrum cap number 5. Certainly a few hits early on, throwing his weight around.
He's got 5 on his back.
He's playing at 8.
He's lining up at 8. That's another good tackle there. As Archie, like a couple of apologies, no, it was Jack Griffin at number 8. The referee spotted he was offside. That was a really physical challenge. He won the collision and wrapped the ball forward too. Real physical imposition there inside the first couple of minutes there from the Epsom back row. But a good touch found from the penalty. This is great field position now for Oakham to launch an attack.
See, the spectators have gathered on this lovely sunny afternoon here in Oakham. There's a very light breeze around, just a couple of clouds, but perfect conditions, perfect autumnal conditions for a good game of rugby. Just 5 metres out.
They're looking to get the try going, but Epsom seems to have dealt with it. Just a case of patience now for Oakham. Catch ball there, Haynes in off his wing.
Closer to the try line, Oakham. Epsom look defending rigidly.
The white line feed there from the Oakham pack.
They fall away over or through.
The white line feeder there, as I mentioned, from Oakham. It's ever so tempting when you get so close to the try line to just think I can get there, but it's often a case of going through the phases and being patient. The gap will appear. It was Patel champion in the matching black and red scrum cap who thought he could go for it. It was decent defence initially from Epsom. Very often it's a case of every man for himself there, Rob. You just need to make the tackle and make sure there are no gaps, because it's so frustrating when someone bursts through close to the ruck. But Oakham, their first visit to the Epsom 22, a great opportunity to come away with some points here.
It's their utility man, Matthew Riddington, on kicking duty this afternoon. Formerly of Leicester Tigers, now at Northampton Saints. Also a county cricketer as well. He's missed with that one. Get a touch of nerves, chance to get the
Unsuccessful on this attempt, but they will be pleased with the fact that they did go through the phases when they were inside the 22, but it will be important for both these teams to try and settle their course by getting some points on the board. Epsom here just attempted a quick one. But going back to the more traditional route, Oakham going through the phases. I mean, they did manage to commit Epsom to the foul, to the offside. It's frustrating. A strong tackle here from the Epsom back row.
I'll take a hit for Oakham. Nice little first ball there. Johnson has been happy to take it into contact so far this afternoon. It's a dictator of his hands now. Again, Henry, the captain, driving through. Ball is loose.
Referee spotted another knock on there. Good phase play there from Oakham. Keeping it tight in the beginning. The big man going forward, as you said, Hubbard, not scared to take the crash ball on, and then Henry Body, the number 5, making yards again. So Oakham going forward, but they need to cut out those mistakes once they get into the attacking areas of the pitch. Referee not happy with the scrum, bringing the players back up again. Just under 7 minutes gone here, still 0-0.
The only real scoring opportunity so far. A penalty kick missed to the right of the posts by the reliable Matthew Riddington. Pretty much bogged down in the middle so far. Now he's a chance to break on the far side though for Epsom. He skipped inside. Another good little shift of the feet. He's down to ground, he's back up again.
Great footwork, well worked from the base of the scrum by Epsom as well. Spotting space on the blind side as an Oakham player comes over the top. This will be a penalty to Epsom, following that wonderful skip up the wing from the right winger, Elliot Green. First time we've seen him with his hands on the ball. That'll give him lots of confidence going forward. Skip past a couple there and got the offload away and finally got the penalty. So now a chance for Epsom in a very similar position to Oakham were. We're just going to have a look at the replay.
He left a massive bag.
Yeah, coming in from the side. It is the outside half, Riddington, who's had a busy first 7 minutes, both positively and negatively.
Spun it out the left-hand side of the scrum.
Yards made by Archie White. A good defence from Oakham, and they have won the penalty. That'll fill them full of confidence.
You get the feeling both sides are a little bit pumped up for this. A few afters in close encounters in and around the rocks.
Yeah, it's all under control at the moment, but there have been a few little square-offs every time the ball's gone away from the breakdown. Oakham finding touch with the penalty, and they'll look to get some field position now from another line out.
Done that very well, and they'll open up for a couple of chasers to come through. Spilled by first Epsom man. Getting some ground here. To halfway. Kick into the corner. Now going to go out of play. The Epsom defender struggling with it.
Couldn't quite gather it. It was a beautiful crossfield kick though. Absolute nightmare for the fullback to deal with. Originally the pressure came from Elliot Bloom, but he couldn't gather the up and under. And Oakham managed to get the ball back. Good advantage played by the referee. And now Epsom have some defending to do because it came off an Oakham hand. They couldn't quite gather it, otherwise it would have been a certain try. More good territory here from Oakham, but that's good line-up there gathered by Archie White, the captain. Good drive from Epsom as well. Once again showing they're not scared to run from inside their own 22.
For now they're in a loose pass.
Referee spotted an Oakham player offside, which is just as well for Epsom. Archie White once again in the thick of the action this time. The number 6 was trying to shift it on quickly, and it was a handling error that nearly gifted the ball straight back to Oakham. However, the team in black were offside, so Epsom have the opportunity to clear the lines here 10 minutes in.
Under pressure, camped in their own 22 for a couple of minutes after James Stables gave chase to that kick in the corner. Wasn't very well dealt with by Epsom, but they're inching their way out towards halfway. Go in. Booker. Just about managed to get it back onto their side. challenges there.
Tackle in the end, but once again the Epsom attacker beating the first man.
Very well to roll past the opposing figure of Moses Gunda.
Still getting a bit DDS there because it looked like he was going to get flattened by about 3 lads, but Oakham have turned it over here.
So much joy last time.
That is a really, really good relieving kick there. Great work again from the Oakham pack, turning the ball over. We've got a man down there on the far side, but they find themselves in this corner again. Spoke briefly about knowing the pitch very well. Perhaps this is something they like to do, work this corner in the first half. There are areas of the pitches the teams don't miss.
The theme of their attacking play so far.
Pickers-like areas, there might be a little dip here, a little dip there. That's another good line out there from the Epsom
Kicking clear, taken by Alex Hayes. Chance again from James Staples. It's a pacey young man. This time it's passed just behind its intended target. He'll get a second go out to the left wing. Haul him out into touch. Staples, the fullback, is causing a couple of problems for Epsom so far. That pass this time just slightly behind his man. Looking to get a second go, but Epsom dealt with it very well on the far side.
Yeah, he's a bit frustrated with that one because those positions, back threes low, broken fields, chances for them to show their fancy football, but the pass was just behind Hayes and he couldn't get away.
Another chance for Epsom to just try and get a few phases put together, but again there's a bit of impetulance in there at the moment.
Absolutely, and holding on, this is a real opportunity now for Matthew Riddington to find a good touch. This is the 3rd or 4th visit into the Epsom College 22, and they'll really be hoping they can come away with some points this time. Throughout these first 14 minutes, Epsom have shown that they'll run the ball from absolutely anywhere, but this is getting them in trouble. That was a, pardon the phrase, but a schoolboy error there, taking the ball in and holding on at the ruck. This has gifted Oakham brilliant field position.
Dropped it at the first time of asking, but Gunda will try and pile drive his way through. Out to Riddington again. Just tried the little offload for Thomas Hubbard, didn't quite come off. Possession turned over to the visitors. Again, the referee has to blow his whistle. Very stop-start at the moment.
Yeah, referee spotted another knock on. Riddington was asking a lot of Hubbard there. He picked a great line, but he was very close, and the Epsom College defence were up on him as well. I think even if he had gathered that one, he wouldn't have made as much ground as he'd have liked to. But another chance goes begging for Oakham School inside the Epsom 22. It'll be interesting to see if they do decide to run it this time, or they just put a boot on it, get it clear, try and get some field position.
Run it again, they will, and they've spilt it on the far side. Sharman, who went to ground for Oakham. Riddington trying to find a way through. Once again, we're stopped after about 10-15 seconds of play.
Yeah, Archie White broke from the base of the scrum, beat the first man, but it was a dangerous pass there inside the 22. The ball broke to Daniel Sharman on the left wing for Oakham School. But Epsom are getting away with it a little bit here at the moment.
Oakham need to find a way to punish Epsom, who haven't really been clear in their lines. As you say, they're happy to carry it into contact rather than just get themselves out of their own 22. Can Oakham finally make them pay? It's Gunda. Goes down for the first challenge. Just pops out the back. It's a good drive.
Pass a little bit behind Ralston there, means he had to check back inside, but once again the referee spotted an infringement from Epsom, and Oakham will go again.
Relentless pressure from the home side at the moment, but they're being afforded the opportunity to put the pressure on the visitors. Just a bit of a lack of discipline amongst the blue and white hoops of Epsom College at the moment. Yeah, a good portion through this first half and still no score. Oakham will be looking to change that. Been handed plenty of opportunity so far.
Another good opportunity here in this bottom left corner. Well taken at the front of the line, but good defence from Epsom, and the ball's actually on the deck here. And the referee spotted a knock on, and Epsom have got away with it again. They'll have the put in at the scrum. And again, Rob, I wonder if we'll see a change of tact here, or if this is the game plan. No matter where you are on the field, you run the ball clear. Tristan Bartlett to put the ball in for Epsom College.
And as of yet, Oakham have been unable to punish them. Does make you wonder though, what will it take for Epsom to change their tact and get them out of their own 22, let alone into Oakham's territory. As we said, Epsom missing a few key players from their pack this afternoon.
Players in key positions as well. None more so than the scrum half, but Tristan Bartlett, so far so good for the man who's come in for Niall Saunders. Once again, they've gone from 8, beaten the first man.
This time they do opt for the kick clear. Not a huge amount of depth on it. The bounce deceives them and they've retrieved possession. They're out of their own 22.
Nice offload out of the back door there. Tristan Bartlett chasing down his own kick.
Plough his way through the crowd at the moment. Take well held by George Mount under strong contact. Interesting, Epsom were working the ball very quickly in their warm-up. They haven't done so far in this quarter-final. Again, it's another big tackle from Gunda.
Real physical presence, Moses Gunda.
Crowd certainly enjoy him as well. And finally, our camera swings to the left and gets us out of the Epsom half, all but temporarily. James Stables puts his boot through that.
That's a great return kick. Will Joyce for Epsom College put a huge right boot on it. But Oakham playing the territory game fantastically well. The return kick from James Stables, the fullback, returned with interest.
A temporary reprieve for Epsom College. It was over the halfway line for all of a couple of seconds.
Just seeing a replay of that kick there. 22 to 22. One bounce into touch and Epsom straight back on the front foot. Brilliant play from the fullback.
Good first challenge ridden by George Mount.
Barnstorming run from the inside centre. Usually plays at flanker, of course.
Now they've worked a bit of space on this near side, Epsom. Oh, really good ankle tap, really good defensive work from Oakham.
Oostervik there was outside him, and I love a good ankle tap. It was a last-ditch tackle, but what an important one, because if he hasn't got that contact on him, we're just seeing a replay of it here, he was outside his man.
Just managed to contact on his right ankle.
Well, he knew he was past him, and he did a great job of bringing him down. It's a loose throw there from Davis, but he's got away with it. Now Oakham can come again, but that's been lost forward. Referee playing advantage. but he'll bring them back for the knock-on.
Jack Griffin took a little whack in the stomach there as well, but he's covered sufficiently. Sorry, it was Tristan Bartlett actually. He's still taking in some deep breaths. The scrum half. It's after the referee had blown his whistle actually there. Bartlett not causing a fuss, wanting to get on with it. Interesting to see what Epsom can do with the ball in hand for a change, especially over the halfway line. Always had some joy on this near side, the left wing, working it out to the far side this time. Oakham's defence has been solid through the middle. It's Ross Crabtree, big fellow who represented Surrey at county level. Again, Epsom have worked it out wide though, and the visitors could go over here. Claims that he was out in touch, Elliot Green.
Yeah, line out given. Elliot Green once again with the opportunity to open his legs and gallop on the right hand side, but it was good cover defence from Oakham. Right at the start of the move, we had Archie White again with number 6 on his back. He's absolutely all over the park for Epsom at the moment. Jack Brook there trying to steal that one, but Oakham can gather from the line out.
No messing from Oakham whatsoever. Boot straight through it from inside their own 22. Quick throw in though from Epsom. High looping pass there, didn't do the placement Elliot King any favours whatsoever. Oakham have turned it over. First kick forward, charged out.
Ball gone forward again. In the first 23 minutes here, a few uncharacteristic handling errors that neither of these teams will be particularly happy with, especially given the conditions today. About as close to glorious sunshine as you can get in October, Rob. But another good attacking platform here for Oakham.
No sign of any rain. The surface is pretty firm itself as well. Again, Oakham resorting to that far right corner as they look at it. Again, getting some joy from it.
Yeah, another lovely nudge there from Riddington. Plug in the corners. He's playing a very intelligent game actually. He's realising that Epsom want to run the ball at every opportunity, and that's putting them under pressure.
Again, Epsom will try and run it out. Again, the pressure from Oakham is very good. Comes on the 22 at the moment. Nice quick hands there, and a good take by Jack Griffin. Again, there's no way out at the moment for Epsom.
Tristan Bartlett there doesn't really have any options. He hasn't got any of his first or second receivers in, so it's always up to the back rowers, or sometimes in that case we had Ross Crabtree, to try and make the hard yards. But now they've released a man up the right hand side. It's a good tackle that's been made. I'll come back to that after this attack, Rob.
Yeah, Epsom again looking down that right hand side, but it has been turned over. And the home side are relentless in their pressure on Epsom at the moment. Will try and run it themselves now. Really good from Riddington. Goes to ground eventually. Doing every single job on the park at the moment, Matt Riddington.
Great feet there from Hubbard.
Good skill on show from Oakham's ball carriers at the moment. Epsom have got themselves organised. Couple of strong challenges. And no surprise then that Riddington again kicks forward. This time doesn't find touch. control with his foot, James Stables. How he can go. Good offload as well. Stepping inside is Ralston. Still carrying it, Stuart Ralston. And now Moses Gunda tries for the try line. And a big leap and swan dive. Throws the ball down in celebration. And the big man, wearing number 5 this afternoon, Moses Gunda, is the first point scorer of this quarter-final.
Well, it's been coming, Rob, and that's all come from what I was talking about earlier. Epsom College trying to run it out of their own 22, but not giving the scrum half any options. The Oakham defence have been able to telegraph where it's been going, and they've dealt with it fantastically well. This is the first time Oakham have been in the 22 during broken play, when Epsom haven't been able to set their defence, and they put the big man through a gap there. He smashed through the tackle. It was a mismatch. He was against Ustavic, the winger. He's gone through him. He's gone through the 10, Chris Cody, and there is no stopping him. That is no more than Oakham School deserve. They've played this first 25 minutes or so fantastically well, and now have a 5-0 lead for their troubles.
Credit to Stuart Ralston as well, whose quick feet beat 2 or 3 men before he got to ground. He made a huge amount of yardage there before Gunda picked it up and took the glory at the end. And the cheers there indicate that Matthew Riddington adds a couple more points to the board for Oakham School. And it's a very good start from the home side.
Well, they've played the territory game fantastically well. They've spent so much time in the Epsom College 22. Realistically, Epsom probably need to change their game plan because they're putting themselves under a tremendous amount of pressure. When their defence has had time to be organised, it's kept Oakham at bay. But on that occasion, the counter-attack in Rugby from Oakham, it was fast, it was slick, and it resulted in the try that at this stage they deserve. And here goes Riddington.
Riddington again tries to chip one through. He's got runners as well. It's just about fumbled. Cheers go up from the home crowd. They thought it was a second try in quick succession. It wasn't particularly well defended.
Just look at who's chasing this ball though. It was a great kick through from Riddington, again looking to get into the Epsom 22 as possible, as quickly as possible. We had the 2 props and the second rower. Rugby, Patel Champion and Bagshaw were the first people chasing. 1 to 15 at the moment. Oakham are the hungrier team.
The scrum just 5 metres from the Epsom try line. They get over twice in quick succession. Is there space on this near side? There is. Looks like it was put down by Alex Haynes.
Consultation with the touch judge there. It is all Oakham at the moment. Epsom did well to actually get the first touch on it under pressure that resulted in the 5-metre scrum, but it was slick hands there from left to right, finished in the corner by Alex Haynes. And what a minute of play for Oakham.
Former Leicester Tigers winger receiving from James Stables.
Stables did really well actually, because it was a pick-up off his toes. He also drew the man in before releasing the pass. Absolute textbook rugby there from James Stables to set up Alex Haynes for the try. And having not used their pressure particularly well for the first 25 minutes, all of a sudden, Oakham looking like world beaters.
And Riddington add again from the boot. He's had a stellar game at fly half so far. In terms of his kicking to touch, his handling, his running, everything's been good so far for Riddington. It's out very wide though for the number 10. Just too wide on this occasion, just to the right of the posts, but Oakham are 12-0 in front. And just go back to how well Alex Haynes did to ground that under pressure from the tackle on this near side touchline. Just managed to lever himself out the way.
Yeah, it was a good attempt at the cover tackle from Ustavic. But Epsom need an answer now, and the first thing that they need to do is actually get some territory.
5 minutes to go until half-time then. Oakham, the hosts, 12-0 up over Epsom College, unbeaten in 2 years of competitive rugby. That totals 17 matches unbeaten for the visitors. Come here on the back of an 86-0 victory over Eastbourne College on Saturday. They're in flying form. They should be coming here with a huge amount of confidence, but the home side have knocked a lot of that out of them so far.
Just playing intelligent rugby. But here's an opportunity now for Epsom just outside the 22 to get some territory and launch some good attacking.
There's Moses Gunda, as if he needed firing up. He's scored that try. His tackles will be 10% harder than they were before, you'd imagine. It's the first time, really, after half an hour's play or so, that Epsom have just had the ball in hand to go through a few phases. They're just creeping forward a couple of yards at a time.
Yeah, last 3 phases have been good quick ball as well.
Well, I'd dearly love to reduce some of the deficit before half-time.
It's been turned over. Good defence again from Oakham. The referee was playing advantage from an Epsom knock-on. That advantage now over following the kick.
Will Joyce has put his foot through that one though.
But it's gone straight out. Another mistake from Epsom.
Will Joyce, their outside centre, is the goal kicker this afternoon, if he gets an opportunity, that is. But he was just bounced the wrong side of the touchline.
All of those little things seem to be going Oakham's way at the moment. They're certainly the more confident of the two teams, and I think that's all down to Riddington at the moment. He's controlling the pace of the game well. He knows when to run, he knows when to kick.
Yeah, these little things going Oakham's way, but mostly by their own doing at the moment.
That's well taken there by Henry Body.
Big collision mid-air, and it's broken in favour of Oakham. Look to come again. Can we get another score on the board before half-time? How the home crowd would love to see that.
Penalty given. Going back to the up and under that went up, Rob, 2 players have gone up for that, but the ball has gone Oakham's way. I know there's nothing you can do about it because it's pure luck, but when things are going your way, you tend to get all those 50-50s, and now is a very kickable penalty for Oakham just before half-time to take the score beyond 2 converted tries.
It's dead centre for Matthew Riddington. Use him all across the back line, really, here at Oakham. He is today's fly half. As Dave says, he has been conducting everything for the home side at the moment. Right under the posts, really good chance. And it looks like he's just hooked it away to the left. So maybe everything but his goal kicking so far for Matthew Riddington coming together.
Well, he's 1 from 4. He's missed 1 conversion and 2 penalties. Now that's another 8 points. 20-0 is a lot more comfortable than 12-0. If Epsom can get something on the board before half-time, they are right back in this.
There's Riddington underneath it. He'll have to make sure that that doesn't affect his game. Stables again looking to carry. Always when he's in contact seems to make a couple of extra yards before going down. Penalty this time goes in favour of Epsom.
Now our clock has ticked beyond 35 minutes. The referee is tapping his watch to say this is the final play of the half. So if Epsom are going to get anything, they are going to have to run it a long, long way.
Archie White taking contact, the England under-18's man, captain of this side as well, looking to kick their way through. Will be fielded by James Stables.
Strange decision that. I mean, that's a long way to kick and chase, particularly when Oakham have got their fullback and their left winger. It was almost as though Epsom thought, right, we've had enough, let's have the half-time whistle, have our break and have a clean slate in the second half. I mean, we've seen it in this competition already, teams coming from behind. I mean, the last time we broadcast it was Tunbridge versus Millfield, and Millfield were a very similar scoreline. They were 12-3 down at half-time and came back to win, but at the moment Oakham's game plan is working fantastically well.
Oakham have done one of the comebacks themselves last round, 14-3 down at half-time against Bradford Grammar, came through to win that 22-17, so they'll know how it feels from a positive perspective. I'm sure the half-time team talk from Ian Smith and Glenn Gelderbloom, their coaching duo, will be, look lads, we know how it feels to be on the positive side of a comeback, let's make sure that we're not on the receiving end this time.
Just going to have a look at a replay of the first try here. It was Moses Gunda. You can see him coming from deep. He runs a great line and hits it at pace. I mentioned the mismatches before. Very often we get it with the backs when there are a couple of props or second rowers in the midfield, and we'll get a pacey winger trying to pick lines through them. This time it was the opposite. It was the big man at number 8. He spotted that there's a winger there. He's run straight through him. Chris Cody had his work cut out if he was going to get anything on him, because you've got a big man running at full tilt. You've got no chance of stopping him there. Moving on to the second try, we had a barnstorming run for the first one. This was just classic rugby. The ball was moved out to the right-hand side. James Stables, the Oakham 15, not only did he pick up a great ball off his toes, he managed to draw the man in just before releasing the pass. It was great execution of a 2-on-1 despite a good drift defence from Epsom, and that was a fantastic 90 seconds or so for Oakham. 2 tries, and that's the score we have, 12-0.
Really tough into that.
Yeah, they'd always rate their chances going this way.
I want to play. So
So welcome to second half coverage of this Under-18 Schools Champions Trophy quarter-final between Oakham School and Epsom College. The half-time score Oakham 12, Epsom 0, and we had an extended half-time because there was an ambulance on the pitch for the injured Jack Griffin, Epsom's number 8, who will be unable to continue. But a great first half for the home side, Dave.
Yeah, Oakham played the territory game fantastically well. Matthew Riddington in particular from outside half, running the show, knowing exactly when and where to kick. It took Oakham a little while to score. They didn't get their first try until 25 minutes, despite all their territory. But Epsom really need a change of game plan if they're going to extend this 17-game unbeaten run.
Jack Griffin's injury adding to their ever-growing injury list, Epsom. And they've not looked like a side that are unbeaten in 17 here so far this afternoon. There is that man, Matt Riddington, underneath that one, and he's been involved in pretty much everything this afternoon so far.
Yeah, straight away we've seen Epsom there put a few kicks up. The sun quite low in the sky now, maybe trying to challenge the Oakham defenders there, but it was a good mark call by Riddington. He's not found a particularly big touch. We can see the touch judge's flag blowing there, so Oakham will be kicking into the wind in this second half.
And interestingly, that assistant referee John Jameson is actually a consultant general surgeon by day, just popping out on this sunny Thursday afternoon to run the line for us in this Schools Champions Trophy quarter-final.
Great knowledge, Rob. That one there gathered by George Bagshaw for Oakham. Rushed into the kick but found good yardage, but another chance for Epsom to counter here.
He's found a way through, but he spilt it. It was Oosterwijk carrying it. It's turned over eventually for Oakham, but the first chance really that Epsom have had to break the line this second half.
Yeah, great feat from Oosterwijk. Found a gap when really there wasn't one, just couldn't quite hold on to it under the pressure. It's a strange situation going into that contact, because you're thinking, well, do I look for the offload? Do I take the contact? In the end, he didn't do either. And Oakham really let off the hook there. That was a great break from the Epsom winger.
How dearly Epsom would love to get something on the scoreboard as early as they can.
Yeah, the referee spotted an infringement at the scrum there. It'll be a free kick to Oakham.
Finds touch on this near side. Everything but his goal kicking has been absolutely spot on so far. He's 1 from 4 in this match with his goal kicking, but everything else has been exemplary so far.
Yeah, barring the one from this right-hand touchline, they've all been quite kickable too. For the Oakham number 10, this is a good catch and drive from Epsom here though. Still going, making steady yards. But once again, they've made the mistake. And Oakham will get the put in at the scrum.
We talk about the key players that they're missing from their pack, and some serious weight they're missing from the pack as well. How much of an impact does that have in those drives as well as the scrum?
Well, it's not the drives that are the problem, Rob. You saw there they've made steady yards. It's just they can't really seem to get anything going. Every time there's a break, the ball will be dropped. Every time, there's one of the forwards will make yards, he'll hold on to it and give away a penalty. So far, as I said, they just can't really seem to get any momentum, which is the exact opposite to Oakham. But they've turned the ball over here. Perhaps they'll be able to build something on the broken defence, but that's a good tackle there.
Thinking about switching the sides. In the end went himself, Tristan Bartlett.
Offload out the back door there. Epsom really starting to try and force the issue at the moment. But they've got good field position here. Patience is the key.
Seem reluctant to play the patient attacking game in the first half.
This could be turned over here. Good defence from Oakham. And they have turned it over. Excellent play from the home team. Once again, Epsom, same, it's that momentum thing. They decide to work the blind side. Henry Ullman, the scrum half, going short. The forward making great yards, but they're not releasing when he's tackled. He had no support from the Epsom back row, and Oakham could come in for the turnover and once again have the opportunity to clear their lines. Captain Archie White there getting a talking to from the referee.
We've been very disciplined so far, defensively especially. Everything that Epsom have tried has not come off, which when you think they stuck 86 points past their opposition on Saturday, you wouldn't think that scoring an attacking flair would be a problem for them.
Well, often when you come off the back of a big victory like that, it's difficult because it's clear that that team haven't given you any opposition at all, either in attack or in defence. So for Epsom, coming to Oakham here, who will see Epsom College as a massive scalp, will have been building up to this one from the minute they saw the draw. They have come out and they've executed their game plan beautifully. You said discipline, and that's a good word, because even when Epsom have been breaking the tackles, have been making yards, Oakham have stayed disciplined, and they've always managed to force Epsom to cough up the ball. This is their first opportunity of the second half. We've got Hubbard here. The referees pulled them back for something. Let's have a look at that on the replay if we can. It was 12 on 12. I think the referee had judged that the tackle had been completed, but Hubbard has got up and carried on anyway. So another chance for Epsom here following a good penalty kick. Let's see if they can be a bit more patient in attack this time.
Had the drive on this near side at the beginning of this half that did gain them a decent amount of yardage, and that's what they're going to try to employ again this time. Certainly creeping forwards.
Great yards from Archie White, practically doing it on his own there towards the end.
His defence just about holding firm at the moment. Replacement Will Kibblewhite going to ground.
Penalty given for offside. Epsom going quickly. George Mount who took the ball in. Once again, they've coughed it up though. These mistakes really costing Epsom. They've made a conscious effort to change the game plan, particularly from the line out. It was all quick ball in the first half. It's been steady catch and drives in this second half. It was Tristan Bartlett, the scrum half, who went flying in there off his feet. There's no need for the scrum half to be doing that. But the fact that the scrum half is the only one at the breakdown, I said before, no support from the back row. You've got Archie White who's working his socks off with ball in hand. He's almost the first receiver at the moment. He's there before the outside half, but when he's making his yards on the carries, there's no one there giving him any support. He's putting his team under pressure. Oakham pretty much know exactly where the ball's going to go every time, and at the moment they're dealing with it well, but that line-out's been stolen.
Can Epsom use this to gain a bit of momentum? George Mount again carrying it into contact. He's a big fella. Tall number 5 Jack Brook. Good quick hands as well. This is much better stuff from Epsom.
Good handling from forwards as well. We've got a good offload from White. It was Smith, the prop there, with the inside pass. This will be a penalty to Epsom. Bit of a discussion going on with the captain as to whether they go for the posts here or take another option, but it looks as though Will Joyce is going to kick for the sticks and get his team off the mark.
He was nigh on perfect with his goal kicking in the warm-up as we were pitch side earlier this afternoon. He was out there for a good 3/4 of an hour practicing with that right boot. As you say, it is strapped relatively heavily round the right ankle, but didn't seem to put him off his kicking in the warm-up. Can he transfer this and get Epsom's first points of the afternoon on the board?
That's Niall Saunders stood next to him there. He's out with a dead leg. He's usually the starting scrum half for Epsom College.
High and straight over from Will Joyce. And a bit of relief in the Epsom camp as they finally get some points on the board and start to chip away at that deficit.
Well, they've been playing smarter rugby so far in the second half. We've had around about 10 minutes and it's Epsom College who've been having the territory. Now, they've still been making the mistakes similar to Oakham did. However, eventually, when Oakham could cut out the mistakes in the first half, that's when the points started to come. That's what Epsom will be hoping happens as this second half unfolds. Now we're back underway.
We've seen how quickly the scoreline can change. Oakham got all of their 12 points on the board within a matter of a couple of first half minutes. Here they come again, looking to add to that. Thomas Hubbard carries the ball so well. He's made a good 10 yards there. Just trying the kick through.
Tristan Bartlett looked to have knocked that one on there, but the referee doesn't seem to have spotted it, and Oakham can come again.
Good offload on the ground. An Epsom hand got to it.
It's a big tackle there off the ball from Ross Crabtree. In fact, I think that was the tackle that forced the knock on. He's come flying through and hit low. Knocked the Oakham player clean off the ball. Big collision 46 minutes into this one.
Colin Norris, the Epsom number 16, just limping out of that contact as well. The big man with the red scrum hat, he's in the second row. The Epsom pack since coming on. Again, Epsom will try and run it out, and there's a bit of space on this near side now, but a really good tackle. And Oakham again pressing very high.
Yeah, it was a good chase from Ralston, the outside centre.
Not content with just bringing them down, Oakham have pushed them back a few yards as well. The home defence roared on by this crowd of a couple of 100 or so gathered around the Doncaster close playing field. Epsom have just about kept hold of it despite this good pressure. Now the high up and under over towards that far side. As Dave said, the sun may come into play there. Alex Haynes was unable to field it.
Will Joyce there nursing the ball into touch. Lovely kick with the outside of the right boot. Again, plugging Oakham back exactly as Epsom were plugged back in the first half.
I think it's almost what we expected coming into this second half. Epsom knew that they'd have to come out and give it a bit more than they did in the first half. Equally, Oakham will have known that, and they will have known what the half-time team talk for Epsom would have been like, because they'd have had it in their previous match when they came back against Bradford. So Oakham just about holding firm at the moment. 13 minutes or so into the second half.
And Oakham have got away with one there as well, because that was a, well, we'll call it a loose throw there from the hooker, Peter Davis. Epsom managed to steal it. There wasn't really even an Oakham player challenging for that. Obviously a breakdown in communication at the line out, but the ball went forward off an Epsom hand. And Henry Ullman will put in and give Oakham the chance to clear their lines again. Oh, great tackle there. Huge hit from George Mount, the inside centre. And all of a sudden, Oakham are in all kinds of trouble.
Thomas Hubbard, who's been so good as a ball carrier and really good in contact despite being quite slight. Oakham have just about hacked it clear. And that is a big tackle on this near side as well. This game getting really fiery now.
And diving in as well, Oakham have got the penalty. That's just what they needed. We had a great camera angle of that. If we can see a replay, we had the Oakham player come flying in. He's lined up the man about to catch the ball. It was number 18 for Epsom. It was Peter O'Brien, the substitute. He's lined him up. We're going to have a look at the replay now. We can see the chase. He's got his eye on the ball. Then he sees the man. It was a good take, but he's lined him up, and it was a great tackle on a man almost twice his size. Daniel Sharman there doing the job.
That's the kind of tackle that not only gets your teammates fired up, but also the crowd. Oakham school pupils are lining the side of this pitch here now that school's finished. They get to come and enjoy the last 20 minutes or so of this quarter-final that we've been enjoying very much this afternoon so far.
Absolutely, 50 minutes gone. All of a sudden the big hits have started to come in this second half.
Bit of juggling there from both sides, really.
Again, Davis for Oakham. His arrows have started to let him down, but they've got away with it because Epsom have knocked the ball on again. But these are more like the areas of the field where Oakham want to be playing their rugby.
Spent a lot of time in the Epsom half in the first half. Oakham, they've been penned back mainly on defence so far in this second half, as we expected. Epsom with the scoreline to try and recover. Now a chance for Oakham to show us the attacking prowess that got them their 2 tries in the first half. Carried well by Daniel Sharman, floated on the inside, driving towards the 22. And the attempt at the drop goal from Riddington, just wide.
Riddington aware that if Oakham do get the drop goal, then they've got a 2-try lead again. Not 2 converted tries, but I think he just wants to keep the scoreboard ticking over, as all good outside halves do. He was under a lot of pressure then, though. There was a good defensive lift from Epsom, and he couldn't really get a clean contact.
Oakham about 20 minutes or so of match play without a point, so that might have been the thinking behind Riddington's drop goal effort there. It just snuck the wrong side of the posts.
Well, really, they'll be thinking every time they go into Epsom's half now, they'll want to score some points. Just keep that scoreboard ticking over, but that's quickly taken. Oh, by Will Joyce. I thought he'd got away with one there, but the referee called him back. That would have been great possession for Epsom to pick up. Quick thinking there from the number 13, but he goes long instead, and that's well gathered, and Oakham can come again.
Looking for the kicks into the corners that served them so well in the first half. Gained some good territory. That pass has gone over the scrum half's head, and he's just managed to ground the Oakham player just shy of the try line. Can the men in black and red force their way over? Not far away. Good quick hands again from Riddington. It's out on this near side, and over the line goes Daniel Sharman. Smallest man on the field, ducked his way under the challenge. It looks for all the world as if Oakham have got their 3rd try on the board this afternoon.
Well, he's had a great couple of minutes, Daniel Sharman. Firstly, with that monster hit on the left-hand side. He was also the man who chased the kick over the top that Epsom put themselves under pressure again. It was well moved out. Good quick hands there, really well done from Riddington, and again it was James Stables in at second receiver, manages to draw the defence over. It was number 12 George Mount. He thought he'd ushered Sharman into touch, but he was there with the finish. The referee puts his hand up, and Oakham now 17-3. It was a well executed try, but again Epsom putting themselves under pressure with bad passing inside their own 22. Well, they've pushed the self-destruct button here, Rob.
They have indeed, and credit to James Stables, who's assisted 2 of the tries this afternoon, just doing his job, making sure he picks the right pass, because in moments of under that kind of pressure, it's got to be deadly accurate, unlike Matthew Riddington's kicking.
Yeah, 1 from 5 for Riddington. Going back to that, James Stables, with those situations there, it's almost the length of time you dare hold the ball onto. If he shovels that to his left-hand side straight away, then it's an easy tackle for the man covering the left winger. He holds it, he holds it, he holds it, right until the moment where the man has to commit to the tackle, then he shifts it out to the left winger, who finishes with aplomb.
Rare mistake from Harry Allman underneath that kick-off from Will Joyce of Epsom on his own 22, and just spilt it in front of him a couple of times. Just catch a replay of that. We did mention that the lowering sun might cause a few problems here at Doncaster Close this afternoon.
During that replay, he's put himself in a good position to catch it, but his front foot has just slipped and the ball's hit him high up the chest, and this is a great chance now for Epsom.
We're looking for an instant response. Epsom, they find themselves 14 points down. Josh Boyle, the very late replacement on the replacements bench, got the contact there. Epsom are working it out towards this near side. So far, so strong for the Oakham defence. Moses Gunda again. When he's got a bear hug grip on you, there's no escaping that man.
Well, he's been quite quiet so far, but the referee is going to give him 10 minutes here. If we can have a look at a replay of that, was he offside when he made the tackle? As I said, he has been pretty quiet so far, more of a threat in attack than defence, but just after scoring the try, this is a huge 10 minutes now for both teams. Epsom with the ball exactly where they want it. We've got the replay here. First of all, he's taken the number 12, George Mount, out off the ball. And then Bartlett too. Some may say a soft one, however, this is a great chance for Epsom. Making yards again off that catch and drive.
Oakham a man light in there now, and he's a significant man in there, Moses Gunda. Can Epsom make their opponents pay for that rare flash of ill discipline? As we say, maybe a little bit harsh for the sin bin, but he put himself in that position and the referee made that call. So Oakham down to 14 for the majority of the remainder of this match.
More good ball here for Epsom as well.
So Dave, what kind of mentality does it put you in when you go down to 14 men? Do you work it that extra bit harder, or do your opponents go, "All right, we've got a man less to get through now"? Who gets buoyed up more?
It's the same in any sport. It really depends on the match. What's most important for Epsom here is that they have great ball in a great position in the field. If Oakham can stand strong for the next couple of minutes while the ball is here, then that could really be a huge turning point in the game. But there's a massive gap to the left-hand side there as he goes straight over the top. Bit of white line fever, and he spilled it. Touched back there. Another chance goes begging for Epsom. The player was over the line. It was a last-ditch tackle, and the ball just squirted free. That is a huge, huge, huge opportunity for Epsom. It was a mismatch. I think it was the number 12, George Mount, hugely powerful runner. Thought he'd take on a smaller defender. There's actually an Oakham player down Again, that's that white line fever we talk about. He's a few feet away. He thinks, I'm going to go over the top of him. He's playing at 12 today. He usually plays at 7. Those guys love the physicality of the game. They always think they can win the collision. But on this occasion, his hands have let him down as the score remains 17-3.
Yeah, he's in a position there where he's thinking, right, we're a man up, we're 14 points down, I need to get over that line no matter what. And I think credit to the Oakham defender, as you say, there was a size mismatch, but he got nice and low and sort of levered him off balance, if you like. But still, George Mann will not want to watch that back anytime soon. Really good opportunity for Epsom. There are just over 10 minutes left of this quarter-final. Their 17-match unbeaten run that stretches over about a year and a half or so is in real jeopardy.
It certainly is. Important here for Oakham to not mess about and just clear the lines. With a man down, they're bound to be under pressure, but it's a case of how they deal with that pressure, and the most important thing is not putting any on themselves unnecessarily.
It's a big loss to their side, Moses Gunda. He's got the first try with his power, but also his big tackling was a huge part of their defensive structure as well. And plus he's a very big fella, so it's an even larger than normal hole that Epsom will try to exploit. And again, just when they're in a very promising position, had a man or two over on that left-hand side, again, they've handed the initiative back to Oakham.
With respect to Epsom, they've not done the basics well today at all. They were just trying to move the ball from right to left there. They've got an overlap. They have to. It's 15 against 14. However, we look here, they're looking to move the ball from right to left. First of all, the scrum half moves it here. Then there's a little bit of confusion in the middle. You've got the substitute, Will Kibblethwaite, running straight into Elliot King. It's crossing. They create the space on the left-hand side, but that's a basic error. And once again, another chance goes begging. You wonder how many of these they can blow, to be completely honest, but that's another big scrum from Epsom. Good pressure from Bartlett on his opposite number 2, and they've turned it over. Surely now there's space on the left-hand side.
And that man, Oosterwijk, goes over. He was in acres of space just a moment ago in the previous attack that they didn't manage to find him, or they did, but unfairly. But this time he's standing over there in acres on the left-hand side, waving, saying, give me the ball, look at the space I've got. Easy grounding, and Epsom get their first try on the board. Is there a comeback on the cards?
Well, there's plenty of time. Taking Moses Gunda out of that scrum puts Oakham right on the back foot straight away. 7 versus 8, and your strongest forward is out of the scrum. As soon as Epsom turn the ball over, it's underneath the sticks. You've got Oosterwijk on the left-hand side. Simple hands, which is something we talked about no more than a minute ago. This time they can execute it, and 17-8.
Will Joyce needs this to go over from that far side. It's not a bad effort from a very wide angle, but not on target on this occasion.
Well, 17-8, Oakham now still more than a converted try ahead. Had that kick gone over for Epsom, then all of a sudden they're really on the front foot. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Oakham now going quite deep with this kickoff and looking to pin Epsom in their half for the remainder of the time that Gunda's off the pitch.
Well, the gaps don't quite look as wide when you're in your opponent's half. You're under slightly less pressure to plug them.
Well, we talked about not putting yourselves under pressure, and Oakham have done exactly that. The kickoff has not gone 10 metres. And Epsom will have the put-in at the scrum on the halfway line.
Oakham maybe just feeling a touch of the pressure now. The home side, the home crowd are good for you when things are going well. You can almost sense that their schoolmates, there'll be family, friends and teachers on the sidelines now. They know that they're closing in on an historic victory that will put them in the last 4 of this competition, and all of a sudden the basics such as making 10 metres from a kickoff are nowhere to be seen.
When you get to this stage of a match in a game like this, or any game, and it's quite evenly balanced, there are 2 mindsets. There will be one of these teams thinking, we're going to win this. There'll be another team thinking, I hope we don't lose. Now, that can really be the turning point. We've spoken all game about how Epsom haven't executed their play very well. They haven't taken their opportunities, but that is a fantastic turnover from Riddington, but it's gone back the other way again. And the referee's arm goes the Oakham way. That is huge from them, and we've got a big smile on the face of the captain, Henry Body there. But as I was saying, as we just look at another replay of this, the psychology of the match, all of a sudden 10 seconds seems like a minute, the remaining 5 minutes seems like a whole half, and this is huge now for Oakham. They've been in the lead the entire match, but Epsom have that one-man advantage and of course the momentum, but moments like that Riddington turnover can really tip the scales the way of his team, and this is going to be a very exciting final few minutes.
It is indeed. We may be boring you with the name Matthew Riddington, but he really has had that impact on this game. He was busier in the first half, but he's still doing his job in the second, and just a couple of important turnovers and a couple of important tackles. He's not seen as much of the ball as he did in the first half because Oakham simply haven't seen as much of the ball, but he's still in there, disciplined, doing his job. And Moses Gunda, you may have heard the cheers from the Oakham crowd there. Moses Gunda thought he was about done in the sin bin. The referee has very clearly just pointed him back off the field for another small amount of time. They'll be keen to get him back out there as they put the line out long. It's good work from the Epsom tacklers. One of the Oakham players has taken a big jolt there.
Yeah, massive hit from Crabtree, came over and cleaned out the scrum half. Allman diving in from Oakham though. Another mistake, and Epsom with the penalty. It was Bartlett wanted to go quickly, but the more sensible decision has been made to find the touch.
Oh my God.
All that came from scrappy play at the line-out. It was a good clean take at the back from the Oakham player, but his pass to the scrum half put Allman in all kinds of trouble.
There's the man that we're missing at the moment, Moses Gunda. I'm sure his stopwatch will have counted down 10 minutes a lot quicker than the referees. He'll be eager to get himself back in for the last couple of minutes of action here and try and help his Oakham side into the last 4 of this school's Champions Trophy. I say he's waiting patiently. There's nothing patient about him. He's itching to get back on the field. Epsom just need to keep trying to drive forward. Our clock says something slightly different to the clock in the background, which I'm sure will say something slightly different to that of the referee. It's been a little bit scrappy, a little bit stop-start. Do you know there's just around about 2 minutes or so left. I can see that Epsom very keen to get on with things very swiftly now. The drive from the lineouts has been good this second half from Epsom. This time it's grounded a lot quicker than it has been.
Yeah, Oakham dragging it down there, hence the penalty to Epsom. Interesting decision now. With time to go, do they go for the points? Or do they go for the corner? A penalty brings them to within a converted try. They're going for the corner. They know that time is running out and they need 2 scores if they're to continue this very impressive unbeaten run.
It's a case of get the converted try on the board and then see what you can do with a last minute sort of Johnny Wilkinson-esque drop goal or any kind of penalty towards the end.
Well, we've certainly seen it happen before, but this is good structured play from Epsom again. That drive from the line out, making yards. straight away you can see the difference that Gunder's made, driving that sideways on his own. But Epsom still coming. Someone's lost their head guard.
Yeah, key for Gunter to be back on these last couple of minutes, just when you need the big impact player. He's had a 10-minute rest as well. Epsom with just over a minute to find a way over that Oakham try line, but at the moment the defence is holding firm. We're all on by the home crowd. They try and work it out to this near side. Again, it's a decent tackle.
Oakham committing less players to the ruck now as well. Just plugging the gaps at the edge there, as we can see from the tackle.
Making sure there's absolutely no way through that Oakham defensive line. And there's Gunder. That's what we've been missing for the last 10 minutes. Gunder with a big tackle. Still Epsom come, and still Oakham just about hold them off.
All of this for Oakham though is eating away at the clock.
Epsom man just managed to wriggle through a small gap here. They're just a couple of metres short now.
It's a good tackle on White, the main ball carrier for Epsom.
Goes over the first tackle, but again Epsom
try, and it's that man Archie White as well. No surprise, he's been a fantastic ball carrier for Epsom. Just before that we saw George Mount trying to barnstorm his way over on the right hand side. Eventually the patience prevails, and Epsom, the first time really they've gone through the phases and managed to keep the ball in hand. They kept it tight, they weren't tempted to swing it wide and put that at risk. They used their physical strength, and Archie White reached over. But is it too little, too late? I mean, our unofficial clock has clicked over 70 minutes.
Will Joyce converts it. That's 17-15 to the home side. As Dave says, our clock has ticked over. The clock on the scoreboard on the main school building has ticked over as well.
What have we said about second half comebacks, Rob? This would be heartbreak for Oakham. But what a comeback for Epsom, should they be able to overcome this. Now, I said last time, I wonder if Oakham will go long with the dropout. Surely they have to be tempted this time just to play that territory game. No, not too long, but it has gone the 10 this time. Will Joyce making yards for Epsom.
He's the man that kicked the conversion successfully to make sure that they were still in this match. There'll be nothing silly, nothing ill-disciplined from Epsom now.
Oakham have absolutely defended their hearts out in the second half, but Epsom, since that yellow card, have really played much more exciting rugby, the stuff that they themselves and their coaching staff would have wanted from the first whistle, really. All of a sudden, that exuberance and those offloads in midfield are coming off. But the penalty goes to Oakham. Could this be it? You'll notice George Mount there stayed almost Buddha-esque, and there it is, the full-time whistle.
Matthew Riddington kicks to touch, and the home side, Oakham School, are through to the semi-finals of the Under-18 Schools Champions Trophy, and they have beaten Epsom College, who came into this game on the back of a 17-match undefeated run, including wins over the likes of Tunbridge, Harrow, Eton, Wellington and Dulwich. Jubilant scenes here at the Doncaster Close playing fields, because Oakham School have just about got over the line. They are one step closer to the final to be played at Allianz Park in November. What a victory.
Well, I tell you what, that was all about the first half performance from Matthew Riddington. Epsom came into this match huge favourites, as you said, 17 matches undefeated, stretching back the entirety of 2013 and 7 out of 7 in 2014 as well. Oakham, however, through Riddington, played the first half beautifully. Even when the game plan didn't come off, when there were handling errors in the 22, Riddington kept going, he kept plugging the corners. Epsom didn't execute their game plan, they couldn't clear their lines, and those 2 tries in quick succession that Oakham managed to score in the first half ultimately proved the difference, despite a fantastic Epsom comeback following Moses Gunder's yellow card, but it was too little, too late for the away team. I think we're going to have a look at the replays of the tries now. Going back to the first half, we were talking before the game, Epsom, they'd scored so many points. They'd scored 315 and conceded just 71 going into this match, Rob. Oakham, by contrast, had scored 118 and conceded 134. They've had a few more close matches than Epsom, though. Epsom not really been pushed all season. I mean, their narrowest victory was against Tunbridge, 34-23, you know, an 11-point victory. You can see there from the look on the players' faces, it's come as somewhat as a shock, and they've really got to bounce back now. I mean, we've got a man in tears there. He's certainly not going to be on his own. That is a tremendous result for Oakham School.
Well, the whole intention of this inaugural Schools Champions Trophy was to afford schools the chance to play against teams that they don't usually get to meet in their usual regional circuit, and certainly that's the case with, as we mentioned earlier, this being the first ever 15-a-side fixture between these 2 schools. So maybe Epsom weren't quite ready for the level of competition that they were facing in this quarter-final this afternoon, despite the fact that the 2 head coaches know each other inside out as well, having played and coached together throughout a lot of their careers. But it just looks as if Epsom came here maybe overconfident on the back of an 86-0 victory against Eastbourne College on Saturday, to come along 4 days later and come up against what were clearly much tougher opposition, who were buoyed on by the home crowd as well, and that really shows the merit of this new competition.
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, you look at that result against Eastbourne College, 86-0. No one really learns a great deal about that. It's more like a training fixture, you know. So they come off that win. They haven't been tested in attack or in defence. It's just been a stroll in the park for their guys. Then all of a sudden, Oakham give it everything in defence, and they absolutely played Epsom off the park in the first half. So just looking at the try now, back to the first half, it seems like an absolute lifetime ago, Rob. It was great ball from Allman. He looked behind him, he knew exactly who he wanted the ball to go to, and Gunder, the big man, gave himself plenty of time to get up to speed. It was a well-timed pass. He went straight through Oostervik and Chris Cody, and that was just what Oakham deserved at that stage. On to the second try. It wasn't a great pass, but it was fantastically picked up by Stables. You can see him drawing the left winger in. Again, it was Oostervik who committed to tackling the man, which he had to do, because if he'd thrown a dummy, he was in himself. But it was well finished, and all of a sudden, from 0-0 to 12-0 in the blink of an eye. Now moving on to the second half, all of the action was at this one end. The first time we've seen Epsom really be able to complete a move. Again, good hands, drawing the man. I think Alex Haynes, the right winger for Oakham, could have perhaps committed to tackling Oostervik. However, he had to commit to the ball at the same time. It's always a difficult decision for the wingers, Rob. Do they go for the ball or do they go for the man? I think all the coaches would say to go for the ball, because if they do score the try on the inside, it's very frustrating. Then we've got the third try here for Oakham. Great hands again from Stables. Draws the man, and Daniel Sharman caps off a fantastic second half for him on a personal level with the try in the corner that took the match out of sight, really. Despite this final onslaught, we see here the number 12, George Mount, trying to go over the top. It was Will Joyce the first at the breakdown. Oakham back up to their full complement of 15 here, but the pressure finally told for Epsom College. They spent a lot of time in the Oakham 22 in the second half. Good ball from Bartlett straight to the number 6, Archie White, who was absolutely all action for Epsom. He had a good line, there was no stopping him. He made yards all day, and that was the try that his personal performance deserved, but it was too little, too late for his team, and Oakham hang on for that fantastic victory.
So that's the summary of this Under-18 Schools Champions Trophy quarter-final the final score here from the Doncaster Close playing fields: Oakham School 17, Epsom College 15. Oakham School make their way into the semi-finals of this, the inaugural year of the Schools Champions Trophy, and that's where we'll see you next. So from Dave Rogers and myself, Rob Hayes, a very good afternoon.